A Kanna, I see a lady Toro. So I know, I'm guessing they've seen the show, but has everyone else here seen Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid? Raise your hand. Everyone seen it the whole way through? Yeah?
Yes.
Or a little bit? I've had a couple people come up to me this weekend and say, I just saw episode 1 or I just saw like 2 episodes. So you guys already kind of know about it. It aired about a year ago, I think, at this point, and it's been so cool. I play Kanna, by the way. That's who I voice in the show. It's directed by Kyle Phillips and script adaptation by Jamie Markey, who also plays Lukoa. And like I always switch those letters. Lukoa. And it's been really cool to see. A lot of the times I don't know that fans know, but shows come in when they're licensed, already rated. And what that means is like financially rated, kind of. Like a AAA title would be like an Attack on Titan or a Dragon Ball Z. And then it just kind of goes AAA, AA, A, B, C. This was a C title, which means they didn't think that it would financially be very viable. It didn't mean they didn't think it was good. It just, you know, and so it was kind of like an underdog, and it was such a runaway hit because now it's like got such a loyal and awesome fan base. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone here for watching the show. I think when stuff like this happens, I think it kind of creates a little undercurrent for the possibility of more of it being adapted and more of it being animated, which is really cool for us and for y'all, I think, if something gets a sequel and gets the opportunity to have more. It was such a fun project to get to work on. I was really shocked when I was cast in the role that I was cast in, because I really thought the person who played Lady Toru, Sarah Wiedenhaft, I thought she would get Kanna. Like, it seemed like such a kind of baby role like that she would do. And so when she got that, and then when my girl Leah Clark got Miss Kobayashi, it was awesome. Leah Clark and I have been friends for 11 years. She was the very first person to cast me ever at Funimation. She was my in to the door into this industry. And so it's really cool to get to work with her in that way. And it's just such a cute show with dragons and heart and love and silliness and so much fun. And I just love being a part of it. And so thank you guys so much for watching it. Yeah. I'll take a breath. There's been so many funny things that have come out of it too. I don't know if you guys have seen all the different memes and things they've done about it, and there's so many. I learned something 2 weeks ago. I was at a convention in Florida that I'd never learned before. Do any of y'all play the VR games?
Yes.
Yeah, I learned that because and then someone also, not that, but someone brought a poster of me where it was it looks like Kanna, but it wasn't Kanna, and that's because it was the Kanna Knuckles.
Oh my god.
Crossover.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't understand. I don't play. They're VR chat, and so people are explaining that to me, and I'm just like, it's been this crazy a runaway meme kind of thing. They did the Kanna Eater of Worlds, and there's the weird ravioli don't lose the dragon loli which I support. And then the Attack on Titan Kanna, and all these different things. It's been so fun to see all the different creative things that people have created about it. Absolutely. I love all of that. Learning about the Knuckles thing, because I'm not a video gamer either. That was so funny. But I guess a lot of people are on the VR chat and all that. Yeah. So, that's all I have to say about that. I guess. Did you guys have any questions or any thoughts or comments at all about the show or anything, or want to share your story of how you started watching it? Yeah.
Is the next season coming out?
See, that's what I was trying to kind of say is I have no knowledge that it's even being created. Everything starts in Japan. I mean, that's where all of this comes from. That's where all of it's created, and we just send them little wishes and prayers and hopes and dreams that they will make more of something. And sometimes the companies are really good and knowledgeable about creating sequels or making ongoing series, but sometimes they just like to do a one and done. And I'm really hoping it's not a one and done, but honestly, I'm the last to know. It's so far above my head, job wise. You know, the people making those decisions make way more money than me and make way bigger decisions than I do. You know, Funimation is a company that's now partnered with Sony, and so those people are really big dogs. So by the time it gets to me, like, honestly, you probably guys already know about it, because that means Japan has announced that they are going to create it. And then it gets out there, and then everyone freaks out, and we're all happy, and we cry. And it's great, yeah.
It's because they haven't announced anything about a second season. Sarah was here in Austin earlier at the beginning of this month, and she said, like, yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But
I always feel bad when I can't, like, tell you guys things, but I literally don't know.
But I started getting the manga volumes that pick up where the anime left off to continue the story.
Yeah,
and it gets
so that's
really interesting.
Always a really good sign, usually, that there could be more, is if there's more to adapt from, like other source material to adapt from. It's usually a good sign.
Was this like a SAG-AFTRA thing? Did you know that was the character you had gotten until you walked in? Because I know that happens pretty frequently right now, where you don't know until you see it in booth.
There's SAG-AFTRA here in Texas, but Funimation and the voice actors at Funimation are not SAG. It's not a SAG company. Yeah. We sign away our lives saying they'll pay us one time and one time only for anything. That's why we go out and do these conventions. Honestly, like, you know, it's another way. And yeah, I didn't know until the director told me, because it wasn't a project that I auditioned for. He just cast it based on the knowledge of having worked with the different actors before. Oh, thank you for doing that. I was like, I'm yelling, but there's not a mic in here. Yeah, so I did not know until he just saw me in the hallway, and he always calls me every time I see him. He's another director up there. He always says, Jado, and I say, Kylo. And he told me, and I was like, awesome, and I didn't really know anything about it, and then when I started, I watched an episode, and then I went in to record, and I'm like, this is the coolest. She is so chill and so cute and wonderful. And the first episode, I think, was a lot different than the other Kanna, the rest of Kanna, how she acted and everything from that first episode when she was introduced. But it was still really fun to get to say that first line. If I do, it was fun.
Yeah, like, she's the type where I look at and I'm not a parent yet, but if I have a daughter, I hope she's as adorable as Kanna. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't always stay that way, though, do they? They grow up, and then they have all these other emotions. But yeah, she's so chill. I feel like she's so zen and, like, chill. But also, like, she's 500 or something, right? Like, she's not actually...
In dragon years, she's a kid.
Yeah, in dragon years.
But you know, she's based on an actual dragon, mythical dragon.
Yeah.
Kanna Kamui, and worshipped by a tribe in northern Japan. So think Quetzalcoatl, Aztec, Fafnir, and Norse.
I know. I've noticed, like, the Japanese, like, seem to really love Norse mythology.
Yes.
I directed season 4 of High School DxD, and I was like, please, I don't want to have to figure out how to say this Norse word. It's like, it's so not anything like what you think it would sound like. And this season, I'm also playing a character in Master of Ragnarok. Which has so many Norse, like, things in it and Norse names and stuff. So I'm glad that I'm not directing it. I just have to show up and they tell me how to say the word. I have to figure it out. But yeah, it's really fascinating. They love all those mythologies and they love, like, creating content about that.
And the Final Fantasy Vegan series has Norse all over too.
It's just so difficult to pronounce. Or it just doesn't look like it sounds, is mainly the problem. And when you look at it, it's kind of like, what?
There's a website actually called Forvo, F-O-R-V-O, and it's a pronunciation dictionary. You can type any word into it, and it'll give you a list of people from various areas that have, like, recorded themselves saying, like, these words in their language.
We use that a lot. Like, what we try and do is we try and find, like, 3 or 4 different places that have said whatever word we're trying to figure out how to say. And at least if there's, like, 4 confirmations of how it sounds. Because some of them, like, you listen, you're like, no, what? Like, I feel like people are recording and they have no idea what they're recording. And it's just not even accurate. So it's like you're trying to make sure that it's mostly what it sounds like. But, like, really, you're wishing you could just, like, talk to someone, like, actually that's from Where that is, like, I had to do some Sanskrit in DxD Season 4, and I was like, kill me, please. I just wanted to, like, tweet, does anyone speak Sanskrit? Well, they record this for me. But yeah, stuff like that. It's challenging, but it's fun. What else, you guys? Yeah.
Were you weirded out that you were popular? Well, Kanna-chan was popular on VR chat?
I wasn't weirded out, but I didn't get it because I'm not on that and I didn't know what it was. And so it took 30 minutes for someone to explain to me like the knuckles thing and like the thing. I was like, what? But it was sort of shocking. I'm like, that's interesting. I just found it really interesting that like it made it to that like corner of the world. You know, like you never know like when you start something and when you do something like where it's gonna go. That's really cool.
Like,
hey, what's up? You can come in if you want.
I think that Kanna's going to be the first that comes to mind from now on whenever someone hears the word Moe. You know? I think so. Like how popular she is.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted. What did you say?
I just think that Kanna might be the first that comes to mind whenever people hear the word Moe, like in general, you know.
Or
I think in terms of her popularity, yeah.
Or, yeah, Lily, for sure, definitely. Yeah.
Can you say something in Kanna's voice?
Yeah, I always say, that's wicked. I love that episode. It's so funny. So
Someone asked Sarah the same thing, like what's your favorite line and do it in her voice, and she said D for dragon.
Yes. Yes. I got to do a convention with her and it was really fun. I like it when they bring like multiple people from the same show.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Someone made her sing, I think I tweeted it, they made her sing the cleaning song. It was so cute. I was like, wait, everyone get your cameras out and we're gonna film her. It was adorable. She's like a little cute, adorable nugget. Yes.
Recently in the manga, Kanna goes to America and learns how to skateboard, so get ready for more of that slang.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Please animate it. I'm not caught up on the manga.
Skateboard now.
That would be adorable. That's another meme coming. Just
Oh, I just remembered a question I forgot to ask Sarah, but maybe you know. Because the OVA came with the Blu-ray that he had on there, like it's not dubbed, but I don't know if there was like some reason or you can't say.
I think it was a timing issue, but I honestly, that's another thing that was sort of so far above. But I think it was a timing issue based on, I'm gonna go ahead and guess, like contracted on when we had to release and based on when the OVA came out.
Oh, okay.
I know we were all really sad not to get to dub it, but I still think it's really cool that they did include it as part of it, at least part of the package, in the subtitles on the DVD. But we were sad. We really wanted to dub it.
Hopefully there's a re-release like years from now, and you can guys probably virtually do it.
Or soon, yeah.
Yeah, or soon, or like next week.
Never sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We were sad about that for sure.
Before the
Yeah.
license runs out.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And I don't know how that stuff like that works. Like I think I saw something the other day where some like really old title, they were like, get it now before it's gone because like the license was expiring. And they weren't going to be able to release any more of the content or stream it anymore.
Yeah, it was, the most recent one from Funimation was June 30th. The license for Black Butler Season 2 and Shiki are going out.
Shiki, that's the one I remember because I was like, I did that one, that was so long ago. Yeah, so
I
that
picked
was
it up.
at least like a 9-year-old project, so that, I mean, and every license is different.
Yeah.
I honestly don't, keep up or know how that works. Exactly. Yeah. Does anyone have questions? Yes.
What's the weirdest thing you got told to say as a voice actress?
Weirdest.
Well, this is a PG-13 panel. Or just a PG panel. But I've had to say some really weird stuff. I mean, there's a lot of, like, really weird, edgy kind of anime. If anyone saw, one of the weirdest, like, most fun things I got to say are a lot of the lines that Kanna says in High School DxD. In season 4, she said something about one of our favorite fried chicken places. I'm sure you can Google it and see that if you want. It was a really fun line. Yeah, I've said a lot of weird things, but most of them are like they make me think of that. I can't. And honestly, like that first line that like I think Kanna says is pretty ridiculous and pretty fun to say. I've had people like ask me to record videos of saying that again, like to specific people or to their friends, especially if their friends wear glasses. What's up, guys?
Do you ship Kanna with Psycho?
Sure. I mean, I love Psycho. I love the way she freaks out because I feel like she's like the representation of the audience, like, and how they feel about Kanna. Just like she's so cute, like, but it's all internal for us. Like, we're not quite freaking out like she is, but yeah. I think if there was anyone to ship a little tiny baby dragon with, it would be her, for sure. What else, guys? Yeah.
Have you ever like been overwhelmed by the character's fan base or the show's fan base? You know, like, has a fan ever took things too far or like over and beyond, but not like in a bad way?
But not in a bad way?
Yeah.
I guess maybe. I mean, it just. Some people like have their best girl, or they have their like waifu, or they have their this or that, and they just get really excited about a particular character, a particular thing, and so it's always really fun when like someone will come up to the table and they're just like freaking out in some sort of way, and you just want to like freak out with them because they're so excited, you know. I'm excited for you too. Yeah, I've experienced that before. I've experienced some odd stuff before too, but yeah, it's always, I don't know, I find enthusiasm like such a turn on. Like, it's so nice to see people like happy about something. It makes me happy and excited that they feel that way about it. So it's always really like a compliment, you know? What else, guys? On this lazy Sunday. So what do y'all have any favorite moments from the show, or like a favorite episode that you liked? A favorite? Yeah?
I like when Kanna talks about rain.
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorite gifts too, when she's stomping in the rain. She's
like,
so
rain,
cute.
Rain, I love rain.
Yes.
I love it so much.
I know, she really likes all the simple things. I like the seesaw moment a lot. When her and Lady Toru are seesawing up really high. Come down. That's really fun.
I saw a GIF online of Kanna and Toru's fight with each other, like the first time, you know. Yes, and and it says the Toru has the words over like my parents, and then Kanna's like me, and then the dragon breath is like my responsibilities, or something like that.
I don't know if I've seen that one. I'll just try and find it. Yeah?
My favorite part was when you put the crab in your mouth.
Oh my gosh. She eats everything. I love it so much. But I always feel sorry for the cute little creatures that it looks like she's just like looking at, and then the butterfly.
For the crab, I saw an image of someone said like took that image of the crab when he was looking at Kanna, and it says Mr. Krabs in 2017 to 2017.
I remember
crab.
Similarly, I saw it was like a mashup of, essentially they took footage of Kanna eating various things, but it was set to, it was apparently some lines from a documentary about Komodo dragons hunting.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's literally just Kanna eating everything, but it's narrated like a nature documentary.
Yeah, like that one with the frog, where they're like, you may not know this, but it's the war cry of the great warrior frog, and it's like,
I like that.
That's funny, yeah. Any other favorite moments from the show?
When Kobayashi works really hard to get work done early so that she can go to the sports festival, it's like that was the moment where she finally accepted that she was a mom.
Aww. That's so sweet. I love that when they go shopping for the backpack, and Lady Toru was like, "I knew you would choose that color." The red color of the backpack.
Drenched in the human's
blood. Yes. I love that moment. Yeah.
Then their measuring tool fight or whatever.
Any other favorite moments?
I also like when Kanna was like, cicadas are crunchy.
Oh, yeah, at least she shut them up. The Japanese also really love to put that sound effect in a lot of shows. They love the cicada sound effect. And sometimes I feel like it gets a little out of control. Like they turn it up so loud when I'm doing like a mixed review for a show I'm doing. I'm like, can we please just back that up just a little? The cicadas are out of control. Yeah.
One of my favorite parts is when Lady Toru always goes to the phone for advice and says, kill them all, kill them. Never mind.
And she's like, okay, hanging up now.
Yes. What else, you guys? Any burning questions that you didn't get to ask all weekend?
Who's your favorite character besides Kanna?
It's tough. There's so many ties. They're all tied together. I really love voicing Yuki in Wolf Children a lot. That film is, I love it. Has anyone seen it? Wolf Children?
It's been a while, yeah.
If you haven't,
You guys, it's
it's only like an hour and 20 minutes of your life. Grab a box of tissues
Yes.
and watch
really
it.
lovely.
Huh?
It's really lovely.
It's so lovely. It's so good. Colleen Klinkenbeard like kills me in that. She has an amazing performance in that. Everyone's really great. That's a fave for sure. I really like playing Haruna in Is This a Zombie? And likewise, Guri and Love Tyrant. I feel like they were kind of like sister shows in my mind just because I'm playing opposite of Austin Tyndall and getting to just beat him up and like insult him all the time. It was really fun. I've had, Hachin and Michiko and Hachin. That was such a magical journey to go on. That's another favorite of mine for sure. So many. It's really hard. It's so hard. I'm sure it's hard for you to pick a favorite show. Do you have a favorite anime?
It's just Kobayashi Dragon Maid.
Look at that. You know. That's a good favorite though. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the first anime you ever watched?
Well, okay, that's a hard question because I feel like there were things I was watching that I didn't know were anime. Like back in the 80s, there was probably some stuff that like was anime but wasn't necessarily labeled as such. But the first one that I knew was an anime was Dragon Ball Z. My boyfriend was obsessed, and so anytime that it was like a birthday or any sort of thing where I needed to get a present, a Christmas or whatever, I would have to go hunting for the DVDs and find them somewhere, whatever the newest season that had been put out, because that was before streaming, and then we would watch it. And I would be like, what is happening? I don't follow. It was a very, it's a very long story, but yeah. Dragon Ball Z. What about you? What was your starter anime?
Future Diary, because that's what I was introduced at first, and I had no idea what anime was, like a year ago. And then
That
this
one's
person
dark.
talked about it, so I went to go search for animes, and that's when I got into it.
Mm-hmm. Did you continue watching ones like that, or did you go more
Oh no,
lighthearted?
I went to the softer stuff.
Yeah, I was like, that one's pretty intense.
Future Diary turned into Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Yeah.
It's a long road.
I have so at the panel yesterday, you mentioned, you and several other people said that you guys are also like trained singers.
Uh-huh.
Do you get to sing very often?
I do actually get to sing a lot. Like I feel like they're doing more and more music in anime. It's tricky though, because in some of them, like the music rights, I feel like it's a much more complicated process to get rights overseas and like to get rights at all sometimes. One, because the Seiyu are so different than us in that they're sometimes launching not just a career as a voice actor, they're also launching like a pop music career of some kind or another. So sometimes they don't want us to dub the songs. Like, you know, all those girls you saw with the pom-poms. We can't dub those songs. Like I'm doing a new show called Island, which I was cast as Renee in because she's a singer, and then we found out we can't dub it. I know. I'm like, oh man. But I have, and actually that's my very first audition for Sasame's Magical Girls Club was a singing audition, and so that's kind of how I got my foot in the door there. But Haruna sang Is This a Zombie? Data Live I sang, No Rin I sang. I need to like make a list, but yeah, I've gotten the opportunity to sing in quite a few things, and the most recent one was Pop Team Epic, which is really, really fun because it was like the Earth, Wind, and Fire remake on episode 4. Yeah. Let's pop together. If you haven't seen it yet, y'all, it's really fun. Yeah, so I get to sing quite a lot, and then I did a show called, excuse me, 7 Mortal Sins, which is not for everyone in this room. Or me, I don't know. But I got to rap in that one, so that was fun. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, the guy who was directing it, he's like, I want you to be a cross between, I don't know her name, it's Danielle something, but the Catch Me Outside girl. But a cross between her and Iggy Azalea, like for your character, and then like she raps, like she'll freestyle rap. And then her name is Astaroth in this character in the show. And then that, and also what happens when we dub those, like sometimes we get the rights and the music files like in time to do it in time for the simuldub for the weekly thing. But oftentimes what happens is we have to skip that, leave in the Japanese, but we can come back later once we have everything sorted out, because sometimes they don't send us over the materials that are separated. And what I mean by that is like the vocals and the music are integrated within the music files that we have, and the audio files, and so we don't have a separate track to like dub. So we'll have to dub it at the end for DVD. And we did that one for 7 Mortal Sins, and it was it was fairly complicated. Like I was singing like 8 different parts of my own, like on top of myself, and rapping and doing all these crazy things. So it was wild. But yeah, I get to use that skill a lot. I'm really different when I have to do that. I turn into like a way more insecure person, which is very odd because I have a freaking degree in singing. But I just like get so, I think it's because it's not live singing, and so you don't just like go out there, do it, and get it done. It's like you have to listen to your playback immediately, and I'm like, no, that was terrible, I gotta do it again. And I've had to start being like, unless I have a really, really strong opinion about it, I have to just say, hey, if you like it, I like it. Because I will never like it, really. Because I'm very self-critical when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, and I just get really nervous about it. And I don't mean to, but it just kind of happens.
Where did you get your degree from?
Texas Wesleyan. It's a really small college in Fort Worth. Yeah.
Do you still get to sing, like outside of, do you still like take lessons and like sing classically or something like that?
No. I was very happy to leave that part of my life behind. I kind of don't like the way music degrees are structured that way, quite honestly, which is why I bounced around a lot, and I did jazz studies because I did a lot of jazz singing, and I toured with a jazz band a lot, and I was more interested in doing stuff like that in musical theater and like other types of singing. I didn't want to sing opera all day long. I didn't want to sing art songs and arias. Like, just wasn't my jam. So it's been really fun to get to do a lot of pop singing. I don't get to do a lot of it nowadays, unless I'm doing a musical, and I'm going to get to do a musical again in the fall. I'm doing Sweeney Todd, so I'm excited that I get to sing again. That'll be fun. Yeah. Are you a musician? Or
Yeah.
Are you studying at UT?
No, I'm studying at the University of Kansas.
Oh, wow. What are you doing down here?
Oh, I live in San Antonio, but
okay.
I go to school up there.
What happened? Come on in.
There's a few chairs up there.
There's a Parents. Join the chat. Are you studying to do vocal performance?
Yeah. Yes.
So you're still into all the art songs and arias?
Yeah.
I just don't like that they y'all, this conversation can go any way it wants, but I just don't like that, like, that's, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's so rigid, and I feel like a lot of the teachers that are in that field are so traditionalist that, like, I remember my voice teacher in college, like, he was an amazing, amazing operatic singer and also an organist and, like, just an amazing musician overall. But, like, I was also singing with the jazz band, and he came to the concert, and he was like, I just don't get it. Like, what are they doing? Like, he didn't get, like, the solos. He didn't get what was happening. Because they're just so structured and, like, rooted in the theory of it and, like, the perfection of it. And it's just kind of so old school. Like, there's so many other things and ways and so much other music out there besides all the music that's hundreds of years old. And it's like, can we do some other stuff? Like, you can still teach me how to technically work it in my voice, but does it have to be an aria? I guess it does for now. You know? Which is why I think a lot of musicians go by the wayside of school and, like, don't train and don't study and just do their own thing and are self-taught because it's just not for everyone. And it honestly wasn't for me. Like, I just got so far along in the degree that I just wanted to finish my freaking degree. It took 8 years because I was really slow at it and wanted to do a bunch of other things. So, but more power to you. Power through. What year are you in?
I'm this will be my last year. So.
Praise be.
I'm almost done.
Are you getting ready to do your juries, your senior recital?
Thankfully my teacher is letting me do more musical theater stuff. Yes.
Does anyone else want to do this degree that I'm, like, discouraging accidentally?
It's fun.
I don't mean to. So juries are this thing. So when you're a vocal performance major, and in a program like that, I don't know if you're an education major or just a performance major.
Performance.
They basically make you learn, like, I don't know, 15 to 20 songs a semester, and then at the end of the semester, they go in a room and they say, okay, you sing, this is how we did it, I'm imagining it's still the same. You go in and you have all these songs, and you, like, hope that you remember all of them. It's a lot of material, almost all of them are not in English. And they're either in, like, French, German, or Italian. And then they're like, okay, you can pick one, but we'll pick the other two at random. Hope you know them. Good luck. And it's just like, with that amount of pressure, you're always like, or whatever. And then intermittently, in between that, throughout the semester, you usually also have peer-based juries in which you're in a room singing a song, and then your peers can critique you on them. It's great. College is wonderful. I don't know if that's how it still is.
We don't have the peer ones, but
Praise be.
But yeah.
I watch way too much Handmaid's Tale, y'all. And so
Yeah.
I'm saying praise be to everything. Yeah. I mean, you learn a lot, and, like, getting a music degree is really amazing. I don't like how classically based it is. When there's so much music out there to study. I mean, I get it, but that's where we are usually right now. Well, I hope your senior recital is amazing. I found a way out of it by deciding that I wanted to produce an opera with all of my theater friends.
Oh, cool.
And we did a Menotti opera in a haunted house for 3 nights.
That's cool.
Which Menotti, if you're not an opera major like us too, is, like, one of the only English language musicians or operatic writers that wrote, so it was all in English, so we could all learn it, and it was called The Medium. And,
I've seen that, yeah.
It's
Ooh,
really cool,
it's
so
super
it's,
fun.
like, super eerie, people are dying, there's, like, all kinds of crazy stuff happening. It was really cool. That was my way that I got out of my senior recital. I did that instead. Anyways, y'all, we've derailed a lot, but it's really fun. Yeah.
So, what you said earlier on Sweeney Todd, so is it going to be a musical or another format, and what character are you going to be playing?
I'm in the ensemble. I haven't done a show in quite some time, so I'm glad they're letting me back on stage. It's the Sondheim musical, though. It's the Sondheim one, which I'm really excited about because I'm a huge Sondheim fan.
Where are y'all doing that?
It's at a theater called Firehouse Theater in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's not the company, but that's where they're performing. It's called Lip Service is the name of the company. It should be really cool. It's a really cool musical if you haven't seen it. There's a movie out about it. That one's one of the more accessible ones. Sondheim put his stamp on that and added a few extra songs and stuff. Has anyone seen the Sweeney Todd movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of the traditionalists were like,
Movies it.
but I like both. I like both. It's really cool. It's really dark. But I love the music. It's my favorite Sondheim. Yeah, sorry.
For Dragon Maid, do you like the intro or the outro more?
Choo choo, yeah. I like that one.
The intro?
Is that the intro?
That's
Yes.
the intro, yeah.
That's the intro. I thought so, yeah. I like the choo choo, yeah one. It's really catchy. And the little dancing. The wiggling is fun. What about you?
I don't know. I like them both so much.
I always love the music they put on these and the different songs. Even if I don't, like, you know, can't really sing along necessarily. I always like it. I also like, in Dragon Maid, the weird little, like, computer effects that they put throughout, like with the bleep, blap, bloop, bloop, like the little, you know what I'm talking about? The dots and the arrows and the little things. I like all those little sound effects and cute things that they added in there.
The transitions? Or?
Yeah, the transition. I like that. I thought it was really well done and super cute and creative.
And I like how they're different every time.
Mm-hmm. So adorable. What else, you guys? What are your burning questions?
Have you ever like lost your voice like the day before you have to go in to record something?
Yes. Yeah. I
What's
mean,
your
I mean, I
appropriate-
get sick. Like stuff happens, and it sucks. I hate having to do it, but like, if you have any sort of voice at all, like that doesn't sound like total trash, the way that it's set up right now, like you kind of gotta like just power through, because it has to be done within a week's time and out the door. So you just kind of gotta power through. But I had a week where I totally I got laryngitis, and sometimes when that happens, you have to get a voice match. We've had to do that for certain episodes, either because people are out of town or because they totally lost their voice due to sickness or whatnot. So it has happened before. And it's nerve-wracking and it sucks. Because like, being sick is, like, totally human. But when you're a voice actor, you're like, ain't nobody got time for that. Like, it's not helpful. And so you try your best to stay healthy, but it's kind of impossible sometimes.
I heard there's some foods or drinks that can kind of like help soothe your voice.
Yeah, there's what's called Hulk juice, which is actually like a Chinese like medicine. Like it looks like molasses in a jar, and they call it Hulk juice because it's what the guy who voiced Incredible Hulk would use every time he did it. You just take a spoonful, and it's really soothing. And so we have several jars of that at Funimation of the Hulk juice. It's helpful too when you're doing like a really intense sort of character. I can't remember her name right now, but I did a show called Nobunaga, and I had to do a lot of like Rambo style like yelling, like shotgunning kind of stuff, like a lot of that, and so a lot of screaming, and it was helpful doing that for sure.
Yeah, leading a rock group, hunting lemon tea during intermission was my lifesaver.
Mm-hmm. Lots of warm tea, never cold beverages.
Mm-hmm.
Cold beverages are not good for your vocal cords when you're recording, so just either room temp water or I like peppermint tea. That's my go-to. Soothing on the stomach too.
Can I record you saying something in Kanna's voice? Because my friend really wanted to come, but she couldn't.
Yeah, maybe right when we're done. When we're done with it, yeah, we'll do it. Yeah.
How long did it take you, like, when you started kind of auditioning for voiceover stuff, like for character stuff, before you got like a main role?
I got really lucky, surprisingly. I did Sasame's Magical Girl Club seasons 1 and 2, where I was like a bit part in like a really small character name, and then I did bit parts for a show called Hell Girl, and then I was cast as Matsuko Hara in Ghost Hunt. So it was like my third show, was like my first like big meaty role. But after that, I mean, it was just sort of spaced out. Like they didn't do as much as they do now. So it would be like, maybe I'll hear from them in 6 months and get to do another project, and another 6 months. So I've been doing this for 11 years, but the last 3 years, like if you could like break down like how many characters I've added to my roster, to my resume, has been so much more because they're pumping out so much more. So that's been really cool, but I got lucky that someone took a chance on me like pretty early on, and that same director kind of kept taking a chance on me. I think it took a while for other directors to be like, oh, maybe we'll try her out, like, and see what she's like. But Tyler Walker used me for a lot of projects. He used me for that, and for Carlin Fairy Tale. He directed season 1 of Is This a Zombie? So those are some of my bigger like starting roles that I was able to, I don't know, got lucky, I guess. Yeah. What else, y'all?
Has someone ever discouraged you as a voice actress and it actually like hurt you in a way?
You mean like a director or like just anyone as like a person? Nothing is coming to mind. I mean, I've gotten online hate before, but that happens. You know, that just happens. And honestly, like, makes me laugh, and I like to go find them and troll back on them. Because, like, you know, they won't tag you, and they think they can't see you. And, like, sometimes when you think you're anonymous, you'll say all sorts of crazy things. And then when the person actually finds you and was like, hey, I'm here. And so they'll be like, so-and-so is trash, this anime is trash. And I'll be like, I thought it was so good. And I'll just tweet back at them, and then they'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe you saw that. Like, sometimes they like apologize. Because they don't like think that like you're a real human out there that can like see their hate. But, and so, you know, and there have been people who come up to me directly and be like, I really hated you in this. I'm like, cool, thanks. Like, awesome. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of funny to me because it's so subjective and like everyone has their own opinions. But it almost just mostly amuses me when they have the balls to just come straight up to your face and say it. I'm like, right on. Cool, dude. Hope you have fun at the rest of this convention. Like, I don't know, like, what do you say, you know? Like, you're not for everyone. No one's gonna like you completely. I've never had it from anyone that like mattered, is what I guess I can say. And I'm not saying like, I mean, everyone matters, like peace, love, harmony, all that. But like, everyone matters, but like, I think the people that it would have to really affect me would have to be people that I really cared about already and had a really strong relationship with to get under my skin in that way. What else? Yep.
Do you like pineapple pizza?
No, but my boyfriend does. He loves that. I don't like hate it. I'm not like, I can't eat it. Like, it's edible to me, but it's not my preference. Do you like it?
No, we're starting a war right now.
Oh, no.
Hey, I don't like it either.
No, I feel like it really is one of those really divisive subjects. Pineapple pizza versus the non-pineapple kind. It's like cilantro. Like maybe it's like a gene where you can just like it or not like it. It tastes like soap or it doesn't. Like, I don't know. It's okay, but it's never been like my go-to. Do you have a friend that like really likes it? No? What about y'all? Pineapple pizza?
Sometimes.
Olive? Yeah. Oh.
That's a very like
Sounds good.
I did strawberry pizza.
No. I've seen that.
That sounds
Are you for real? Oh, I mean, like, sure, don't put anything on a pizza, I guess.
That's like a spoof post on like Twitter or something. Someone took a picture of like strawberries on pizza, and they were like, everyone like forget your war against each other, like pineapple haters and lovers. We all need to join together to destroy these people.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's so funny. That's like the dress thing that came out a few years back. Like, what color do you see? Yeah.
Oh.
Was it black and white or blue and gold, or is that those the colors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you hear Laurel or Yanni?
I can't.
Oh my god. Oh,
I hear a dead
Okay, that was another thing that like I really considered strongly murdering my boyfriend because he just kept it by my ear. Like, we'd sit on the couch and he just played it and played it and played it. Bye, thank you. And I was like, I hear both. I could hear both.
Yeah. It's just a really poor recording where the bass is turned up too loud.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. But he would not stop playing it, and I almost went to the knife drawer and considered ending his life. But I love him, so I didn't do it.
Okay, so I have a random question.
Sure.
Do you when you like go in like on a week just to record, do you like put on makeup and like put on the sweater and like look cute, or is it just like sweatpants and ponytail kind of?
I'm there 5 days a week now as a full-time employee as a director, so no, I don't gussy up anymore. It just depends on how I'm feeling. If I've had like a 60-hour work week or a 40-hour work week, I don't know. I wish that I was consistent. I honestly like looking like just as a human. I feel like it makes me feel better if I like look in the mirror and feel good. But some days, you know, I don't. I don't want to wear makeup. I just throw my hair up in a bun. Those people have seen me. Most of the people in that building have seen me through a lot in my life, and they've seen me at every stage, so I'm not concerned with impressing them anymore, or just giving them an impression that I'm like, I mean, I don't show up like total trash, like with like pit stains or whatever, like, you know, like one wrong colored or different shoes on my feet, but they've seen me through many trying times, like, and they've seen me cry, they've seen me laugh, like, they're my friends, they're my family. I feel like they're my family now, most of them, so they know what's up. They know what I look like, not so great, and they know when I look cute. So, I don't, but, I mean, I always think it's helpful, you know, if you dress for the, not the role, like when I say the role, I just mean dress for, I just think if you feel good, if you're going in for an audition, or if you're trying to do a new job or interview or anything like that, like if you feel good about what's happening here, then like they're gonna feel good. It's about how you feel. Like it's about confidence, I guess, or just being relaxed at the moment. But yeah, girl, usually no. But you know, that's just because I know all those people. And I've seen all the crazy ways they can look too. We've been through it all. Yeah.
Are you allergic to anything?
Yes, penicillin.
Oh, my brother.
No. I'm allergic to penicillin, and I'm allergic to kiwi.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
I'm allergic to strawberries, so don't worry.
Oh, so you can't have any of that pizza that's so delicious. Oh, yeah.
I've had strawberry sushi. That's some,
Sushi. Yeah, I had a friend in college who like, they couldn't even touch her skin, like the strawberries. I'm like, goodness. I just found out because like I ate it and my tongue swelled up and got all bumpy. I was like, oh, I guess kiwi's not gonna happen for me. But I didn't really have it till later on in life. It wasn't, I don't think as popular as it is now. It wasn't in as many things. It was more of an exotic fruit. Did you have a question? I saw your hand up.
You answered it. I was
Oh.
going to ask if
You wanted to know if I was allergic to penicillin?
the fruit.
Huh?
The bird or the fruit.
The bird or the fruit?
Yeah.
Kiwi.
What?
It's a kiwi.
Oh, kiwi! Oh! Y'all. Right. The fruit, yes. I don't know that I've ever met a kiwi bird to know if I was allergic to it. I think that I'm probably allergic to cats, but I love them so much, and I like researched a bunch, and I wasn't like deathly allergic. I'm really, really, really allergic to ferrets. Like my eyes swell shut. It's not fun. I found that out from like a sleepover at a friend's house back in high school. And I was like, oh no, come pick me up, Mom, or whatever. Like it was not fun. But cats, like I found out that you can become not unallergic, but like, I don't know what the word is, like immune or whatever, like to your own cat and like their situation. Plus I just love cats, so like I'm willing to sneeze to be able to cuddle them. But I have a cat and she's terrible, but I love her. Her name's Granger. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. She's really fat. Granger the Pooh. I love her. Yeah. Yeah.
For a mystery series like Island with a bunch of foreshadowing, double meanings and lines, are you like spoiled to like some of the mysteries while recording for simul-dubs?
Do they tell you ahead of time? Like,
No. In fact, every time I go in there, Caitlin's like, I wish I could tell you what this means that you're talking about, but I have no idea. Because, like, we know when y'all know. I mean, unless she's seen, like, the episode ahead, like, that's all she could have seen ahead because that's all that's out.
I mean, it's based on a game that's in Japanese.
Yeah, so another difficult thing, yeah. No, I don't. I'm not spoiled. I have no idea what's happening, so don't tell me if you know. I'm like, what's happening? This is so bizarre.
You might have to voice more characters.
That's a spoiler! Ooh, but that's exciting. I don't know, that opening moment was a little weird too, so I'm really curious to learn about that.
As someone who's played the game, it's really weird that they showed that as the opener.
Yeah, it left us all just kind of baffled.
Yeah.
Island, we're talking about a show called Island, if anyone is familiar or watching that on their playlist, on their watch list. Love you.
Do you want a refill of water or?
Sorry, y'all. I'm so thirsty. Have y'all been to this place? The Monkey Nest? No, it's a coffee shop. It's pretty good, yeah.
I think there's some water back there.
Oh, you're like tired of hearing me go.
Just tired of seeing you struggle.
The struggle is real on a Sunday, y'all. All right, what else? We have 10 minutes. I will answer anything, almost anything.
Does the ice taste good?
Yes. Y'all, I got an Italian soda. Do y'all like Italian sodas?
I've heard
And
of
I was
them.
there, and we were sitting there for so long that I got a second one. It's just sugar water, basically.
Shot of Irish cream.
I got peach. I didn't get the cream one because I've been taking this medicine and my stomach's been upset. Anyways, so I got a peach one and then I got a watermelon one. It's really good, y'all.
And I don't know if Blake told you, I was talking about Uchiko, the Japanese restaurant that has those chopsticks. Turns out it's only 7 minutes from here.
I didn't have any Japanese food this weekend.
Yeah, but I think Blake said that Janine ended up eating at Uchiko.
Jeannie?
Yeah, she.
Yeah.
Wow, so she experienced that.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Has there ever been anyone that you've met, like, that you were kind of starstruck by?
Yeah, so I've started doing more Comic-Cons lately. Like the really, really big ones. Does Austin hold a Comic-Con ever?
There is Austin
Surely.
Comic-Con. They started a greater Austin Comic-Con in Cedar Park just last month. That was their first one.
And those are really big, and they have on-camera actors, and they have people that are in Harry Potter films. And then you're all in the green room with them.
They had the two little girls who played young Anna and from like Frozen there as well. Young.
Oh, how cute. So yeah, in Florida 2 weeks ago, that was a convention that had 60,000 people attendees. It was a really big, it was Florida SuperCon. I don't remember her name, but the girl from Stranger Things was there, the redhead from this season, and I was like listening to her talk to her dad about some party she wanted to go to and how it was a struggle for her. It was fascinating. And then there was another one that I did where like there were Harry Potter people there, and I just like, yeah, I was totally starstruck. I was like, that's Bonnie Wright. She's sitting right there. And I'm too shy to like say anything because I'm also in a space that's supposed to be like their safe space, and I don't want to be like, I don't know, but yeah, totally starstruck. The most interesting. Did you guys see American Horror Story season 4? Or the one where they're at the circus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit.
There's a very like a tiny person actor from that, like an
Indian woman.
An Indian woman, and she was at this convention, and I was kind of starstruck by that. Like she was so sweet, and it was so interesting to like hear her voice in person, because it's very, very high pitched, and she was very, very tiny, like smaller than I imagined. There was someone that was. I shouldn't be commenting on this while you're filming, but anyway, she was smaller than I imagined. It was fascinating, but yeah.
No, I read online on a random source that she is currently the smallest living woman in the world right now.
Yeah, there was someone that was like there was a person in the green room holding I'm guessing like a 6-month-old or like an 8-month-old, and she was smaller than that. I was just like baffled. It was amazing. She was very sweet too. Yeah, so yes, to answer your question, yeah, so I think my main wish is that at some point I'll get to do a convention with Ivana Lynch, and then I will be brave enough to like talk to her. She plays Linda Lovegood in Harry Potter, if you're familiar.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Starstruck. On camera people, it's just sort of a different feel, or at least it seems that way. But they're people just like you and I. All right, guys. Almost time to be done.
What made you decide to become a director as well? From like, what was your transition kind of from voice actor to?
My transition was. I always quote. Has anyone ever seen We Bought a Zoo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's like a quote from that like he always says. Matt Damon says, or his character says rather, that all you need is 20 seconds of insane bravery. Well, I just had a moment like that where I'd seen an email kind of come out like now, like they do now, like announcing a new season, and I was like, there's so much going on. Like if I went in, like now's the moment to get in on this action. Like, so I just sent an email, like literally right then, to my friend and mentor and producer up there. It was like, I'm interested in doing this. I'd love to meet with you about it, like, and like kind of get your opinion. And then it just kind of went from there, like other meetings, other interviews, kind of things. And I just kind of expressed my interest in wanting to direct or shadow or kind of sub for people that were like going to be on vacation or whatever. And so I kind of thought that it would start for me that way. But instead they were like, can you start in 3 weeks on your own show? And I was like, yes. You know, I was like, this is terrifying, but amazing. So like just the whole thrown into the deep end of the pool, like learn to swim. I mean, I had tons of support, like and tons of people there that like, you know, could help me at any point along the way. But it did happen way faster than I thought. And then to be lucky enough, it you know, life is so fascinating and interesting for it to like the way that it panned out. When you're contracting directing at night, it's never a guarantee in 3 months that you'll have a job again. Any sort of contract work is like that. And so we were only contracted for 3 months at a time for 1 season at a time. And then, but every season I kept getting a new show. And then for some reason, in like an epic thing that has like literally never happened at Funimation, 2 directors left within 6 months of each other, like daytime directors. Chris Bevins moved with his girlfriend out to LA, and Joel McDonald got a job at Gearbox. And so Jeremy Inman, like, and some other people, we all interviewed for the daytime positions, and we were the ones that were offered the job. And so like I never expected any of that to happen. So that's been 2.5 years ago, and I don't know. I feel really lucky. Really, really lucky. So now I get to do it full time. It's my full-time job. It's crazy. I sometimes still can't believe it. It's only been full-time for me since April, y'all, so it's really new. But it's been really cool. And I just announced today, y'all, I have to plug it. It's on my Twitter, but the show that I was allowed to announce it today because it finally came out at 3 p.m. today. I'm continuing directing Kakario Bed and Breakfast at the Spirits, which is like a 26-episode series. But I'm also directing Magical Girl Raising Project this season, and I announced the whole cast, and I'm so excited about it, y'all. It's actually an older title. It came out 2 years ago, so it's already been like streamed on Crunchyroll, and it's already out there, but we're finally dubbing it. And it's so good, and it's so dark, and it's such a ride to go on. So I hope you guys check it out. I really do. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, we're at time unless there was any last minute burning question anybody had. No? Thank you guys so much. This was fun, a fun little intimate gathering, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm sticking around for closing ceremonies, so if you think of anything else or whatever, come up to me and I'll answer for you and all that. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.